There going, Ryan from Growthable here. This video has absolutely nothing to do with Growthable, but that's where I'm from. So anyway, stay with me. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own AI bot that knows a subject matter, right? So think about this. If you're an agency owner and you want to quickly and easily build a solution that would be a smart enough AI to understand any subject matter, literally any subject matter, kind of like ChatGPT, but it knows something, right? So to demonstrate how to do this, what I've done is I've created a bot called Ask the Fonz, and it knows everything about HighLevel, right? Everything that's available on the internet about HighLevel anyway. And why did I do it as the Fonz? Basically, the bot comes back going, hey, this is how you do a trigger, blah, 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 stay cool or whatever. The reason I did it like that is just to show that you could apply some rules on how the generative language interacts with how you want it to respond to different things, right? So, the possibilities here are quite endless, right? In that you could very quickly start to offer clients the ability to have generative conversational bots that understand its opening hours, its history, its where the founders come from or whatever, because you can feed it as much information as you possibly can and it will just understand that. So you could put that instead of FAQs on the website or anything like that. So this one is the real simple kind of building blocks, if you will, for getting towards something that's conversational. I'm not building something that's conversational today. We're only talking about a conversational bot that can answer in natural language with the right information based on what it knows, right? So let's not confuse the two. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, show you how I did this in, I think it took me, 2 hours, right? Once I'd figured out the little bits and pieces that I wanted to do. And so here we go. Jump in the screen share. This is me building an AI bot that knows HighLevel and answers HighLevel questions as the Fonz, right? Here we go. Hey there, guys. So here is my Fonzie HighLevel guy, right? So I can ask this guy anything about HighLevel and he should know the answer. Let's try a question I haven't done before. How do I include the first name of a contact in an email? I have no idea if that's going to work or not. Let's ask the Fonz. Now, the reason I put to include the first name and merge personalization tag in your email template can instead cool, huh? So go ahead and make those email personal and groovy. Great, cool. So this works as far as I'm concerned, right? Now, how did I do this, right? It's pretty easy, to be honest. You're going to need a few things, right? So let me break it down. The first thing you're going to want to do is I use a tool called Postman, right? Postman, I'm not affiliated with any of these products that I'm going to suggest. I'll link them all in the comments below. Postman can test out an API really quickly on the cloud. You don't need to use command line interface. This is for non-techies, right? Definitely for non-techies. The other thing is you're going to need a front end, right? So now I just use this tool called UI Bakery to build this front end, right? I'm not going to go and publish it and anything like that. We might be building a bot for customers in Growthable to answer questions on HighLevel, because if I can get it to answer as the Fonz from Happy Days, then I can get it to be white labelable, right? So that's kind of why I was doing this experiment in the first place. I thought it'd be cool just to share with everybody. A front-end tool, a front-end tool might be Bubble, right? So, probably if I was going to do it properly, I would go and use Bubble. But, those two front-end tools, UI Bakery and bubble are probably the ones that I'm familiar with. If you are familiar with something cooler or better or cheaper or all of those things, please let me know, because I'm not Mr. Experienced here in any way, shape, or form. The other thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need ability to feed the the feed the bot information, right? So we've kind of got this ChatGPT thing, but in the middle of that, we need to give it context, and we need to do that. We need it to learn everything about HighLevel, right? So how the hell did I do that? Well, first thing I did was I figured out how to do a scrape, right, to CSV, right? So you can go browse.ai, scrapestorm, any of these types of things, right? So what's cool about or browse.ai, right, is you can train a robot in 2 minutes, no coding required, get started, right? So boom, right? We're going to do this. So again, I'm not sort of affiliated with, let's sign up with Google. I'm not affiliated. Now, I was able to take a shortcut because I already have an extensive knowledge base that I had in CSV file, right? So, I didn't have to scrape a bunch of information. But what this is really cool is like, let's go with some web automation stuff here. So, I'm based in Australia. Yeah. I'm CEO of some stuff. CEO of awesome. That's my role. I Googled you. Yeah. Let's just get started. I don't care about any of that other stuff. I want to extract structured data. Ta-da! Right? My origin URL. Well, we all know what this is going to be. Support.GoHighLevel. Help.GoHighLevel.com/. Okay, that one. That's what I want. I want this guy. Boom. It does not need to be logged into. Start a recording task. Boom. Got to install an extension. Okay, let's do that. Add to Chrome. Add extension. Yep. Cool. We need to grant permission. Whoop. Allow. And then we need to allow the recording and incognito. Okay, cool. All right. So we need to do that in the settings of the extension. And it says, yeah, we want to do that. Okay, good. So back to here, ta-da, and then start the recording task, right? Now it's going to go and, yes, this thing here is pretty sick, right? It's going to go and browse everything for me and do its thing, right? So it's already recording, it's doing its thing. I'm happy with that. So once that's done, I'm basically going to be left with a ton of structured data, and the data is going to be in CSV file format, right? Which is what I want. Now I need to be able to feed that information somewhere. I need a table, and I need a table in the cloud, right? So I chose to use a tool called Zata. So if you go to Zata, I think it's zata.io. There we go. This guy right here. Zata is a serverless database. That's what I want, right? So we need to be able to create a table, call it, high-level knowledge-based documents, and then we need to be able to feed all that information into that knowledge base, right? So you could sign in here, start free. It's cheap as, right? And it's so like accessible. There is no BS with it. It just works. So what I did was I created a table called articles. And I got every support article that's ever been written, right, out of my own knowledge base. But then you feed it all of the high-level written documents as well, right? So anyway, here you can see I've got the title, the URL, it just happens to be my one. The section is like, everything on calendars, everything on social media, everything on this, everything on workflows, right? It's all there. And then you've got the body of the documents, right? Which shows you how to do absolutely everything. So I've created this table of information that, 282 records, we can do better than that, right? We'll do better over here when this extraction finishes. Start recording. It's still recording. That's great. Once that extraction finishes, we're going to have heaps more that we can feed it in, right? Now, the reason I chose Zata over anything else was that once you've built a table, they have some really easy ways to interact with this table online. So the first thing is you can interact with it using an API call without needing to do OAuth or anything like that. It'll just use a bearer token, similar to, if you're familiar with like an API key. So it says, yeah, you can use this API key, right? So I've got the example here where it's giving me what that would look like to make a query of this table in command line URL. And there you can see I've got this whole bunch of here. It's going to go and query my workspace, tables, the articles table, and then the API endpoint here is called query. Gives you the header information and off you go. So you could copy that information and you go over to Postman, and then you would log into, say, a workspace. You can get a free account here. And then once I'm in my workspace, I can create a new API call. And I remember it being a post. And so then I would post that, right? And it gets rid of all the crap. But then it gives me the headers, which is cool. And it's like already removed the content type being text plain, which I don't want that. I actually wanted it to be application JSON. The authorization is going to be bearer, blah, blah, blah. Now I can actually just do that in the authorization here. So I can go bearer token, right? And I can grab the token of my Zata table from the API key section here. So it's going to say, you need to create a new API key. And I'm going to add a key and I'm going to call it Fonz GHL. We're going to click on save. And there's my new key. And then I go back to Postman and I paste it in there. And now I can query that API endpoint, right? And it's showing you all of the records, which is what I don't want, right? But you can see here, here's the article URLs, the authors, the category URL. So that's how easy it is, right? So to create that table in Zata, I just went down here, add a table, import from CSV file, boom. So once that scraping bot is finished doing its thing, I'm going to have a massive CSV file, pass it to Zata, create a table, and now I can query it. Now, again, the reason for using Zata is they have an API endpoint called ask. So you're not just querying the data using GPT to understand the data and return ChatGPT like response about the data. So to show you how that would look in Postman, right? If you wanted to, you could go to the documentation. So if we go to the docs of Zata, you'll see if we go down to the API and we find what do I want? I want the REST API documentation and I want to see the ask endpoint, right? Search and filter, ask your table a question, post, right? So you pass in the table name followed by ask, and then you can do some stuff, right? And then you can pass it all sorts of things like, should it focus more on a particular area of the database? How fuzzy do you want the search match to be based on keywords, which is kind of it's a mathematical thing called a fuzzy match, right? Which is kind of like the difference. Like if you think of it in simplistic terms, it's like the difference between like simple keyword matching or phrase matching or broad matching. Vector search. So this would be vector where it's not text, right? It's vector searching. These are like objects. Too advanced for this, right? We don't want to do any of this stuff. We just want to ask it a question, okay? We want to say, how do I do this stuff in high level? Because the table has everything about high level. But you can imagine I've just fed it all the information from a website, and I say, let's ask what time we're open on Sundays because I'm a restaurant, right? So we can do that very, very easily. So because the Zard has the REST API, because it's cheap, that's why I've chosen it. This is what I want. Let's test it out. We go to Postman, we go ask instead of query. So we need to ask that question in the body. So the thing is going to be, okay, so the question is going to be, right? And then this is as simple as it is, right? How do I add a workflow trigger to for form submissions, right? I don't know, whatever. So we could run that right now and it will work. Boom, boom. The answer is to add a workflow trigger for form submissions, follow these steps. Go to workflows, create a new workflow, select order form submission as the trigger, blah, blah, blah. So I already have a bot that works that I can ask questions to. So stop there. You could apply this in 1,000,001 different ways. So the first thing is, think about this, right? I could use this in SMS. So I could add a workflow with an element that takes in a question. You say the trigger is inbound reply from channel SMS, take the data, make a webhook. So the webhook pipes the data out. And then as part of that webhook, I could use something like make to then go, let's make an API call, pass it the question that was asked on SMS, get the response, and then respond to the inbound webhook to answer the question with the response. You might need to strip out the rest of this garbage, like which records it used, which is the source of the information to find the answer, but whatever. Now, you're done. Take that, use it. You could use it in Zapier, Make, Integromat, Pabbly. Awesome, right? That's how easy it is. I think it took 10 minutes, right? So the only other thing I'm going to do is show you how then I connected it to a front end. Now, why would you want to do that? Maybe you want to front end it because you want it to be a custom menu link inside your agency settings. You want to have a bot that answers questions, right? You want to put it on the web, whatever, right? You don't need to do this next bit. So if you've got everything you needed up to this point, catch ya. Have fun making your own bot. You're welcome. Otherwise, stick around. I'll show you the last little bit. So to do the front end, right, we now need to move away from Postman testing to some sort of front end thing. I used UI Bakery. So I went and created an account with UI Bakery. Where is it? UI Bakery, right? And you can see here's the already built one, right? But I'll show you how to do it. You can do it from scratch. So I'm going to do a new app. It's going to be called the YouTube demo, right? It's going to be that. It's going to be that. So here's a blank canvas, right? I'm going to do, I need the input, right? So it's text input. So let's drag that on. This is where someone's going to ask the question. So this is going to be called, ask the Fonz anything about high level, right? Whatever, right? And just maybe extract that out a bit, right? And of course, you don't need the picture. I went and generated an AI version of the Fonz or whatever. I can kind of imagine that there would be some people that are young going who the hell is the Fonz? What the hell is this guy talking about? Anyway. In addition to that, I needed to give it the rules in which to abide by, right? And so that's adding those extra parameters, right? So that's where we would do, the rules, right? And then the rules is an array of rules. So it's answer in German, right? You could say, right? Answer replacing, right? All references to GoHighLevel with funnel. That's my agency, right? Answer only articles that only in step-by-step format, right? You can. The whole point of me showing you that I could get the bot to answer as the Fonz from Happy Days was that you can apply these rules, this is why it's awesome, right? Because I want to be able to apply these rules so that I can go to, as an agency, go to the brand and say, it's not only learning or has learnt everything that we can find on the web about you or the web about this particular subject matter or whatever, but then we can put in all these extra parameters, right? Don't ask about this pricing. Don't answer questions about this tier that we don't want to be talking about. Blah, 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 right? Only answer with colloquialisms in the Australian English language, whatever. Okay. Hopefully, some people are watching this going, I'm going to go and sell 1 million of these, right? Because now I know how easy it is to do. And for those businesses out there that don't understand anything about AI, or this like GPT stuff, right? This is a really, really, quick way to demonstrate what's possible, right? I think. Anyway, moving on. So we can pipe in those rules, right? We're not going to do it here. We're going to do it in our example. Where do I need to be? Okay, so let's go back to the UI bakery. Yeah, so we're going to say ask anything in high level. Now I'm going to create an action. The action is going to be an API request. Of course, what is the URL going to be? Well, the URL is going to be the Postman URL, right? That's what I had when I was building it. So we're going to pop that URL in, okay? And then you would still put the header in, so authorization, and then that's going to be bearer, and it's going to be token and whatever the API key was. And so let's get my token. Here it is. Grab that token. Too many tabs open. That one there, right? And it's still on ask, which means I need the body. I can't just query it, right? So we've got that endpoint. The bearer token sits there like that. Give me the params. Oh, it's a post. That gives me a body. That was a bit silly. Raw, yeah, okay. And then so we're going to do question. So the question, and of course we want the question now to be the user input dot value, which is the value of this, rather than what we had, whatever we typed in before, right? Because it's going to be the variable of whatever we've actually passed into it, right? So this is going to be stage 1, right? So now, just to test it out, right, to make sure we can actually get the connection working, we can be like, how do I add a trigger? Let's just pass that in. Execute. Let's go. What's it saying here? Invalid or expired Java. Okay. That was because let's just get one I've made earlier. Where is it? It's in the authorization. Bearer. I can't remember if it was bearer. We had some invalid API key authorization. It's bearer. Oh, I don't need this stupid thing here. I can just type that in. Bearer token. I've had this yesterday. Let me figure out what it was. Let's get back to my apps. How did I fix it? It was just, the word bearer. Okay. And then I needed that content type. Got it. So let's go back to the apps. Let's go back to the YouTube demo. And let's go back here. And then we're going to do the authorization. Go away, go away, go away, go away. Headers, bearer, space. So it should look like that, which it does. And so we can execute. And it's giving me an error. Articles ask. Let me have a look at the body. I need to do a question mark potentially. And that. Happy with that. Happy with that. Execute action. Error. Name. Am I happy with that body? Yes. Should be okay. Let's just check my other one. All these little annoying things that come out of it. Looks fine to me. It's a post, HTTP requests, tables, articles, ask. Yeah. I know. I probably used different. So what do I want? I need to tables, articles. That's the one. Yeah. Ask. Question. That's going to make a difference. So this is going to be question. I did it in JSON format, I think. So question is going to be. Let's close that off. That's a bit better. Okay, so I was trying to type it in raw. It needs to be in JSON, which is like a key value pair type situation. Anyway, so there you go. To add a trigger, gives me session ID, gives me record back. Right, so that's cool, right? So now I could grab a piece of text and display it somewhere, right? So I don't want text input. I don't want like a label, I guess. Text. So when it answers it, we're just going to stick the answer right here, right? And so that's going to be the data that comes back from the request, and the request is currently called request. And then so you can actually string actions together, and it uses the data from one action to another, which is really cool. And what was funny about this was, so you can see here, I'm getting the full JSON response. So it includes like answer is this, the session ID is this, the record's this. And I want to strip out essentially session ID and records and stuff. So what I did was I did like a new step here. And I want to just do some JavaScript code. And then in here, I want to generate AI. And what I did was I said, like, strip out the session ID and records and special characters. So the data displays for human reading, right? I don't know. I wrote something like that, right? And so, because I have no idea how to write JavaScript, right? So I just typed in something like this, and then AI is actually writing the code for me, which I thought was pretty sick, right? So you actually get it to give you like look at like replacing like the special characters with like a string replacement. Anyway, I ended up with something that looks like this. So if we go and edit the app, the code one here was like the body. So it declares a constant called response body, which was the body of the data that was passed in from the previous one. And then another one called answer. And then it says like, all right, well, I only want to bring through what's in answer and then reject all the other crap, right? because it's in JSON, it could like it's split it out into, because there was essentially like three values or key value pairs. Answer is the only one. I could have taken it a step further and made it even more readable, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab all this, right? And we're going to go back to the one that I'm building for the YouTube demo. And then we go over here, ask me anything about high level. Cool. And we're going to grab that. We're going to grab that. We're going to grab that. And we're going to say, in this code, right, we're going to do that. And so let's execute the action. And now check the answer out, right? So now we're getting like nice formatted to add a trigger. Follow these steps. 1, 2, 3, right? It's nice. I like it. I like it a lot. So, you know, I could remove the word answer. I'm not going to do that. Someone smarter than me can do that. But and then I put, a picture of the Fonz, right? And then we go release, publish release, right? And so I've done my first release. The second thing I want to do then is I actually want to, right, take this one step further, and I want to make the request, right, and answer in a particular way, right? So I want to answer like I'm the Fonz. And I probably only want to do step-by-step instructions, right? So the way that it comes back is really nicely laid out, like with the step-by-step instructions. Now, you don't have to do the Fonzie thing. You can do whatever you want. Again, I'm just showing you how the rules parameter works, which is kind of cool. So let me just go back to the one I made earlier, because that's going to be the quickest way to do this. So, so we need to add that one. And then, so where's my rules? The rules were in the API call. Let's have a look at the body. Rules is an array that looks like that. So back to apps, YouTube demo. Let's go here. Alrighty. So, I'm gonna go there. I didn't want to do any of that. Right, rules. So I need to do a comma, right? Answer all the questions like Fonzie from Happy Days, right? So this is the rules, right? And then so I might just say you could comma delimit these, right? So I could go comma, right? Only respond, right, with step-by-step instructions, a numbered list, right? Full stop. Right? Let's try it. And then now we've got, hey, here's how you do it. That's all set. Keep rocking. Okay? You could take it a step further, right? And just keep going, right? Answer. Using each answer will rhyme like a poem. I don't know. Who knows if it's going to be able to do it? I haven't tried. To add a trigger, follow these steps with vigor. Navigate to the triggers section, my friend. Click on the button that says add trigger. Don't pretend. Give your trigger a name that's cool and slick. Magic begin. Love it, right? This is the coolest thing, right? Like, is that you can do this kind of stuff, I think. Anyway. So there we go. Fonzie from Happy Days, only responds with numbered list. Awesome. Right. And then I would just like put a picture over there. to make it look like a cool search engine, right? So I would use an image. Then so that image is just going to be my little Fonzie picture. And I'll just upload that one, and it's kind of sitting in download somewhere. There we go. Right. And now we've got my Ask Fonz Anything search engine built, ready to rock. So we're going to release that. We're going to publish that out. I'm going to go finish editing. We're going to go to the production environment. And I actually haven't connected that up. So that's the last thing that we need to do, is that we would basically make the request. The question is going to be the input value of that text box, which was the value over there. So now we can release that one. Hang on, let's just release back to both environments. Let's go finish editing. Let's go to the production. So now, and you can see it, for some reason it doesn't page load. All right, I'm going to be like, how do I drip feed contacts into a campaign? Right. Oh, and I have no button linked to do anything. I'm in a bit of a strange mood today. So I need a button, which is actually going to add, it's going to execute the thing, right? Button's going to be called ask me anything at all. Get the answer. Whatever. A button is going to have an action, and the action is going to be an on click, and it's going to do request DB, which is that action over there. We're going to push that release out. We're going to do finish, and now we're going to do how do I add contacts in drip mode? I don't know. To a workflow. Get the answer. There we go. Navigate to workflows, go to save, a green circle, blah, blah, blah. That's it. To get them rocking. So that is it. So hopefully you learned some stuff. I hope that this is empowering for you as an agency owner, and that you can go ahead and build your own trainable AI conversational thing that can work within a set of parameters and rules, and that will give you your own intellectual property and your own platform. You can sell, this is a license or something like that, and go out and absolutely crush it. If you got any questions, comment. If you like this video, like, subscribe, etc. Peace out. Stay frosty. If you like me and my company, go to growthable.io. I have millions of articles, not literally, of course, but like tons of articles on high level on growthable.io. So take it easy, and this has been a lot of fun. Cheers. Bye.